everyone. Welcome to this week's Talon Talks. My name is Pia, and we have our co-host Daniel for today's episode. We're extra excited to talk about all things music, our top artists, albums, songs, and an album that we to our listeners. Joining us today, we have
My name is Joseph Palos, and I'm a writer and photographer for the Talon.
I'll go next. My name is Olivia Vocal, and I am the president and editor-in-chief of the Talon.
All right, my name is Derrick. I'm a writer for the Talon, and I write about various things such as sports and politics and just about anything that goes on MSJC.
I am Camryn Friday. I am a writer for the Talon and very new here.
Good. Hey guys, I'm Daniel. I'm the social media manager here at the Talon.
Awesome. And we're going to start by introducing ourselves and telling our listeners what our current favorite song is. Does anyone want to start?
Well, let's see. Current favorite song. I've been listening. I just wrote an article on Olivia. I've been listening to a lot of the stuff on their latest album. So I'd say I think it's pronounced like Chimera, something like that. I've been listening to that a lot lately.
Very cool. For me, it's kind of hard to say what my all-time favorite song is, since I feel like songs with words, at least, I have favorites that kind of come and go, and then I forget about it. But one that sticks for me is actually like a classical piece. And it translates to The Swan with the Carnival of Animals. And it's by, I might butcher the name, but it's Camille Saint-Saëns. But yeah, I think it's super nice, whether you're studying, driving, just chilling. I really like it.
That sounds super fancy. My current favorite song is probably one of my favorite bands of all time. Just released a live album. They're called 5 Seconds of Summer, and they took like a whole orchestra and completely like redid some of their songs. So currently my favorite one off of that one is their new version of Tea. It's amazing.
It's really cool.
All right, favorite song currently? I guess favorite song currently, I'd probably have to go with Love by Kid Cudi. That's probably my obsession currently. However, if I was to go all time, that's actually interesting because there's a lot of different artists I listen to. Like I can go all time wise, I'd probably go with Impossible by Two Steps from Hell.
That Kid Cudi song is good. Lately, I've been listening to like a lot of indie kind of, I would say like early 2000s indies, New Radicals, You Get What You Give, kind of, and kind of Sweet Disposition by This Temper Trap, Maps by Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Colors by Group Love, kind of like all of that stuff. But I would definitely say I listen to a bit of everything. But that's kind of what I've been listening to currently.
Awesome. And as for my current favorite song, I would probably have to go with Wet Sand by the Red Hot Chili Peppers off of Stadium Arcadium.
That's
But
cool.
thank you. But if we're talking about all-time favorites, I think honestly Chelsea Dagger by the Fratellis is just, it always lightens up the mood, and I think that's like a fun song to play, especially while driving.
You could like yell that song kind of.
And I know, Daniel, you were mentioning no, seriously.
Yeah.
But I know you're talking about like current genres that you're obsessed with. Do you guys think you stick to a certain one, or do you gravitate towards one?
I'll listen to anything I think is good. So it could be from any genre, and if I like it, I like it. Really, I'm open like that.
I'm kind of the same. I feel like I have a top 3 variety of genres. I like
Definitely, yeah.
indie music a lot. Obviously I like classical music as well. But I listen to some pop rock, some easy listening, some electronic sometimes. So it really just whatever sounds good, like Joseph was saying. Whatever's good.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
mostly I just stay away from country.
Totally.
Most country, not all country, but most country. And then like most like new wave like rap stuff where you can't hear what they're saying at all.
Definitely.
I mean, I feel that.
But what
I
about
mean,
like a
yeah.
Johnny Cash type country though? Johnny Cash, like
Oh, the classics, yeah. The
Fleetwood Mac
classics you
even
can't
borders on
mess with.
country. Yeah, or Bob Dylan,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
golden days, where the writing was really pretty heartfelt,
Yes.
classic Americana, stuff like that.
But if it's got something about like a pickup truck, a
Oh
trucker
yeah, the
hat, and like
classic.
beer, then no.
All the top 40 country songs now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
No offense to anybody who actually does enjoy modern country.
Yes,
Absolutely.
You do
There's the
you.
occasional
Just-
good songs.
Bagging on me right
Yes.
now.
Because you're
Well,
gonna look at me and tell me Chicken Fried isn't the best song of all time.
So stop.
The name.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
actually like that song, and ironically,
It's
though.
a banger. No, it is a banger.
That's great.
But it is just kind of funny because I do agree with you guys. However, I do enjoy like the few modern like country pop songs. I feel like they're very like driving down the freeway songs,
Oh,
Does
definitely.
anyone have those kind of
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it makes
definitely.
sense because their Sirius XM station is called The Highway, so
Oh, that's true. It reminds me of like the Cars movie or something, like
Yes,
something that would
yes.
like a
Yeah,
sequel.
definitely.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
But
Yeah.
now that we're on that topic, do you guys think you listen to music like based on the lyrics, the production? Like, is there anything specific that you guys look for?
I sort of it's difficult because some things are gonna like just be better than the others for me. Like I could listen to one song solely for the lyrics, but the quality could be terrible, or maybe it's the feeling it gives me. Whereas others, I really appreciate the production. Like I feel like modern hip hop type music is really pushing production forward. I don't know. I noticed that it's pretty solid production. Like love it or hate it, it's really tight.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same actually. I feel like I focus more on production and the sound a lot because I feel like that's what I'm hearing a lot. But I feel like some songs you can tell if like the lyrics matter more, and then of course then I'll focus more on the lyrics.
I totally focus on the lyric. I'm actually a singer-songwriter, and so I very much focus on lyrics and kind of what resonates with me. And I listen to songs that like I can personally connect a certain story to, and those usually happen to be some of my favorite songs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
guess I listen. I mean, when it comes to first listen, I'm more about the sound, I guess. But over time, I start looking into the lyrics, and then sometimes simultaneously, I find myself relating to the lyrics, depending.
Hmm.
So the
Yeah, at
song can
first
become
I'm
even
sort
more
of like,
meaningful to me.
yeah, like at first I found myself like, man, this sounds nice. I resonate with the sound, and then maybe give it a second listen, and I'm like, oh wow, they're actually intelligent lyric writers. Like this is something. So
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Or
like I
honestly,
mean,
sorry, there's even sometimes where like there's a song that is just so like the lyrics are absolutely horrible and I
yeah.
don't even understand it. Like I listen to Young Gravy and I love Young Gravy and I don't understand half the lyrics, but I think it's like the funniest thing, so I constantly listen to it.
Some music just straight makes me laugh. It's almost like comedy.
Exactly.
Like
Yes.
whenever I hear a song come on by Young Gravy, I just laugh at the fact that he's like Like, this is a real
Serious.
person.
Yeah,
Like, and this guy has a record label like that wants him. Like, there are talented people out there that like study music for 10 years, and like Young Gravy is making more
it's
than them.
so entertaining though. It's just so entertaining, and that's what
Yeah,
makes it amazing.
it really is. It's like the comedy genre of like music almost.
Yes,
Makes you
Bo
laugh.
Burnham,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, Bo Burnham. He's pretty solid. He's creative.
I
Like,
love him.
like I listen to a lot of epic music, and a lot of their stuff is predominantly instrumental. And if there are lyrics, they're usually in a choir form, and usually I
Yeah.
can't understand what they're saying. So, so obviously I'm more of a sound and production guy, because like stuff from like Thomas Bergerson or Nick Phoenix, a lot of their music is
Yeah.
predominantly production based.
Yeah. There's this Batman movie, and the introduction has one of those epic it's an animated movie, and it's like epic orchestra playing, and it's got the choir, and I read one time that the choir is actually saying the names of the people that worked on it backwards. So I know like in choirs, like epic music, they'll sing in Latin and just stuff that you
Yeah.
Yeah,
can't even
like
understand, but it's like the feeling of it. So yeah,
yeah,
that stuff is really cool.
yeah. Like when listening to Two Steps in Front, I noticed that like their music's often in Latin or sometimes in Russian or even in
Yeah.
Norwegian,
Oh
since the
yeah.
composers speak those languages. So
I think, Camryn, you probably have like a really interesting take on it because, as you mentioned, being like a singer and a songwriter, that must really add that extra level of importance for the lyrics.
It does, but it also like the production side of things too, I'm really involved in.
Mhm.
And so it's a mix of everything, but mostly because I'm a part of the writing part, it is very like sentimental to me. But
Mhm.
just the production solely alone on like being in the studio and having to record a song 5,000 times to the point where I'm absolutely sick of it at the end. It's like it's so crazy how much work these artists put into songs and having to mix the music and just all of that part alone is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really respect the recording part. A lot of people don't think about that actually, like to get those
Exactly.
amazing vocals. I remember I heard one time that Kurt Cobain blew out his vocal cords playing
Hmm.
recording like
Yeah.
songs for the Nevermind album. So yeah, I mean, keep in
It's
mind he didn't actually know how to sing. Like I know there's screamo
yeah.
bands out there that know how to scream,
Yes.
but
You have to take
just stuff
care
like
of your
that.
voice.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant, he couldn't do like Immigrant Song after 1972 or something because his voice just couldn't get that high anymore. Like he couldn't
yeah,
do
Yeah.
it open.
It's so
So
tiring,
really,
honestly. I
and
was
and
so
yeah.
burnt
and
out.
like, and if I recall correctly, I think Steven Tyler even blew out his vocals doing that
Uh,
high note on
Most
Dream On.
likely.
yeah,
Most
Like, I think he blew out his
likely.
vocals. Like, he can't even do that anymore. I think he blew it
yeah,
out badly.
it's wild stuff. Yeah.
If there's any singers out there, please take care of your vocals and do vocal warm-ups. Please, dear universe, do that.
Yeah, I
I think it's
remember I had a oh sorry.
sorry.
I had a friend real quick that like because I've been in that songwriting position and like singing, and I had a friend that was a music major and she told me like don't try to sing like like how you think you want to sing, just sing like work on how you sing. How do I say this, like just what's natural for you. Like don't try and
Yes, a
do
hundred
anything
percent.
else because like you sound good the way you are. So just work on that because
Yes.
if you try and like sing like Kurt Cobain but you can't do raspy, you're just gonna kill your throat and you're gonna just experience a lot of pain.
It also
So
just takes out the originality. Like if you're gonna sing and be your
exactly.
own artist, you need to sing how you sing and not how
Yeah.
Billie
And
Eilish
I've
sings
actually
or
learned a lot
whoever.
about that. Yeah, that's like just really sticking to your own way, your capabilities really helps as well with the originality.
100%.
Went off on a tangent, I suppose. I don't
But
know.
I was also gonna say I think that's an interesting point. Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel like I get like everything delayed. Do I cut people off?
No, you're good.
I don't know. I think you're okay.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Hugo, cut that part out, please. But I think it's funny that you mentioned that, Camryn and Olivia, because I tend to listen to music with the lyrics as well, because I'm not necessarily a songwriter, but I do sing, and so I typically pick songs that I can kind of jam out to and sing by
Yeah.
myself and play on my guitar. So those are
Yeah.
always the fun parts for me.
Absolutely. It's like it's storytelling. Music is storytelling, and by being an artist, it's kind of your responsibility to be able to convey a message to your audience in hopes that it resonates with somebody else the way it did for you.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, while I do predominantly listen to like rock or metal music my free time, I feel like I also tend to listen to a lot of big just singer songwriters, kind of like Taylor Swift, just because it's like the music that I can personally relate to and sing about and have a story with, you know?
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any Arctic Monkeys fans,
Mhm.
but like
Definitely,
they're
yes.
called. I've heard them referred to as literary rock, or because of the way that what's his name, Alex? Is it Alex, right? I believe
Yes.
so. Yeah, the way that he writes, it's very like lyrical, and the words he uses words that you wouldn't think would be like song words, stuff like that. So I love that idea of like a literary band where it's like the lyrics really are like saying a lot. It's
I
really
love that.
cool,
Yeah.
and that's probably why hip hop and rap really took off too, is because it used words, just like a lot of words, to
Mhm.
then to say something. So yeah, it's like
Mhm.
spoken word really, but with a cool beat to it or something. But yeah, words are awesome in songs.
And going back to the Arctic Monkeys, I love them. And I think that's why I've shown kind of new appreciation for their recent albums, like
Oh,
Tranquility Base, Hotel
okay, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino is my favorite. A
Casino,
lot of
and The
people don't
Car.
like it.
It's like, surprisingly, yeah, but I watched kind of how, like, a making of it, where he talked about where he got inspiration for the lyrics or just song concepts, and I think like those really go a long way for me, honestly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that documentary might be the one that you're talking about, like on their channel where they sort of are in the studio and stuff, and he talks about it a little bit. I really enjoyed seeing that behind the
Yeah,
set
that
stuff.
one.
Or yeah, it reminds to me the Arctic Monkeys are like I don't know if you can really compare this, but they almost remind me of like the Beatles in a way, but like modern, like just the way that they're able to do so much, with their sound, and they're so versatile and innovative. I don't know, and they're British, so maybe it's something
That's
I
the
like.
main thing. They're
understand, yeah.
British.
I love how everything else, and then the British, and it's like everyone's like, oh yeah.
But speaking of kind of just, oh my God, what was I saying? Hugo, cut that out, please. Um, but speaking of how we listen to music, do you guys typically go through like streaming services? Do you have CDs, vinyl, cassettes?
So I actually do all three. Like when I was younger, I did a lot of CD stuff because I didn't really have the capability to pay for streaming, and I also didn't have the money to buy vinyl. So I have a lot of CDs, but I also listen to streaming now that I'm older, as like just an easy way to listen to it. But I collect vinyls and I have a record player. So for things that I like really love, or I love the album design, I'll get the vinyl, or to support
Mhm.
the artist, stuff like that.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. I feel like accessibility wise, I feel like online and streaming services and things like that. It's quicker. You can, you know, plug it in when you're driving or whatnot. So I feel like that way I probably listen to music the most. But then, of course, I also have a record player. So, it's always nice to go to a record store and find what you're looking for.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
friends and I do that all the time. We like to go to Amoeba in Hollywood. It's so much fun.
Amoeba is awesome.
It's the best.
There's one in San Francisco also. I've been to both Hollywood and San Francisco ones, and they're really cool.
Which one's bigger, the one in Hollywood or the one in San Francisco?
I think the one in Hollywood, because it has that little second story area on the
Yeah.
side there, but the San Francisco one had a lot of good posters.
Oh my, I'll have to go check that out someday.
They're both really solid though. They even have good movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've found, like, I'm a huge Disney person. Like, my brother and I are huge Disney people,
Yeah.
and I've found, like, vintage, like, parade soundtracks from Disney that I've never
Wow.
even heard of at
That's
Amoeba.
crazy.
It's so
Amoeba's
weird.
great. Yeah, I have like guitar picks from Amoeba.
Yes. Love
Yeah,
that.
they're cool.
I mostly listen to Spotify. I'm actually new to Spotify. I used YouTube Music for the longest
That's
time.
what I did too.
And this year I was like, I am so mad that I wasn't a part of Spotify Wrapped, so I am making a vow to myself to use Spotify this year. So
it's like a nice version of peer pressure.
yeah, literally. But yeah, I do listen to vinyls
Spotify
and
Wrapped is
stuff.
the best.
I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked.
Like I always look forward to that in the end of the year. I'm like, all right, I can't wait to see, top 5 artists are, my top genres,
Yeah,
how
like, I
many
just
international artists I've listened to.
Yeah, like I just want to see like, wow, I listened to that one Arctic Monkey song 5 billion hours.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
like,
crazy. Or
yeah,
like,
like,
the
oh
top-
wait,
Yeah.
wait, I was in the top 1% of listeners for this particular artist. My numbers come next year.
I'm
yeah,
so
I love
excited.
seeing those little things.
I mean, there's even like, I went to like VidCon and TwitchCon last year, and there were so many things that like you could have done that used Spotify, like booths and stuff, but you had to have Spotify, and I was like, dang it, this sucks.
They always get you with those things, don't they?
They do.
Like little things that are special to that.
Yeah, or like
Group.
Harry Styles released an amazing album, and to like hype up for it, there was like, if you listen to certain songs of his, there was like a website where you have your own little house and certain little items come up in the house based off of the songs you listen to. Oh, I was so mad I couldn't be a part of that.
I needed to see what my results were for that, because I remember that now. I'm gonna have to look back and see what my results were. Screenshots. Because I remember that not too long ago, and I'm like, all right, so Kendrick Lamar, Breaking Benjamin, all in the house together. I mean, all righty then.
That's actually so funny. That sounds like a Guitar Hero mod. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm like, all righty, that's actually interesting. Dinner table at the house.
Like Kendrick Lamar doing vocals over a Breaking Bad album would be sick, honestly.
He would, and he would do that.
That would go really hard.
Breaking Benjamin, not Breaking Bad, but yeah.
Oh, my bad. Why did you say that? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Cut that out, please. If Pia can say cut it out, then I can too.
Walter White x Kendrick.
Walter White.
Coming soon.
I mean, names are relatively similar, so, like, that's fair.
Jesse, we have to play with Breaking Benjamin and Kendrick Lamar. Oh, my gosh. Walter White and Kendrick on the mic together.
That would go so hard.
Oh my gosh. They're probably going to make a Super Bowl
Spotify Wrapped.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. But speaking of Spotify Wrapped, do you guys have like a consistent artist or artists per year, or does it kind of change?
I'm about to look right now because I have screenshots for the last couple of years.
Oh, perfect.
It's Harry Styles always for me.
Oh my gosh. But I feel like I couldn't have the same artist be the top every year. Like, I feel like there's too much that I'd change up on, or I don't know. I feel like the more I learn about different music, I sort of change.
All right. So basically, there's always one artist that's always in the top 5, but every year there's always a different number 1. Like 2020, and for 2021, I noticed that Pink Floyd was the number 1 artist.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
But consistently, Two Steps from Hell is always in my top 5, and so is Starset.
That's cool. What's your favorite Pink Floyd album?
Other Side of the Moon, for sure.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's been a while
Dark
since I've
Side.
listened. It's been a while since I've listened to. Oh yeah, Dark Side. My bad. Yeah, Dark Side.
He did not get that wrong, right? No.
But
It's okay.
yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I last listened to The Wall. I need to get back on that, but
Mm, no,
but I was
no,
listening to
yeah.
Dark Side, of Moon, especially with the especially since it's now 50 years old. I was listening to that a
Yeah.
lot this year.
Doesn't really feel 50 years old because I hear it talked about so much. And like the album cover sort of doesn't feel old either. Like it all just sort of feels present. It's really cool.
Yeah. One thing's for sure is that top songs are different from every year, but that's honestly a given because I listen to a lot
Yeah.
of different songs.
The songs definitely are going to be different, huh? Yeah.
The songs for me are definitely different, but I feel like um I've been on Spotify since I was fairly young. So like for the first few years, like 3 or 4 years was My Chemical Romance, and then all throughout high school was like Arctic Monkeys, and then like the past 3 years, every other year in the past has been Taylor Swift. So it kind of I definitely have like comfort music.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
Like
grew out of your emo phase into Taylor Swift. And you're
I mean,
so right for that. I'm still in my emo phase.
well, it's kind of funny because I grew up with both of them, but especially because I predominantly listen to music through CDs and cassettes. Like you can't really track how much you listen to those.
Right.
Um, but how about you, Daniel? I know you have a pretty big like record collection, so is that like your main form, or is it kind of Spotify or?
Um, I would say Spotify. I mean, I have a pretty big record collection, but I'm always heading somewhere, so I don't always get the chance to listen to it. But whenever I do get like a Saturday afternoon or something, or I am free for some time, I do like to just put one on and kind of sit back and relax for a little bit. I think as of right now, my record collection's about 200 to 300 records. Um,
Wow.
I have yet to be
Crazy.
to Amoeba. I hear about it all the time, but LA is just super far, so I never make the trip up there. I go to a lot of like local ones. So we have Old Town Records right here in Temecula.
Yeah.
We have Spindles. I think the guy from Spindles is starting to recognize me a lot more now.
Huh.
Because last time he remembered my name. So
Oh,
we're
nice.
I think I've been there a number of times. And there's some in Orange County that I really like. There's Atomic Records in like Laguna Hills area. There's White Rabbit Records in like Maine, Orange County, Santa Ana area. I go to Idaho a lot, so the record exchange out in Idaho is kind of crazy. I'd say that's like the biggest one I go to. Um, and that one has like just a bunch of rare ones, as well as White Rabbit. If you guys ever get the chance, I would go to that one out in Orange County, just because they got so many rare vinyls out there, and just looking through all their stuff's pretty fun. So
Very cool.
That's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, speaking of, do you guys have a favorite record store, like whether local or do you travel for it?
Well, like me and Camryn were talking about, it's really hard to beat Amoeba just because they're really cool. But like obviously I'm not driving to like you know Daniel just said, I'm not driving down to LA every time I want to go get a record. So I'd say that the Temecula, the Old Town Temecula one is pretty cool just because it's right there.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm in Temecula. So that one's nice.
Have you guys been to Spindles by chance?
I have. Yeah.
I feel like I have. Where did you say that one is?
That one, it's over by Old Town Temecula. It's just on the other side of the freeway.
Oh, wait, yeah, I
Um,
think yeah.
Yeah. So it's
feel like
kind of
you
like
can
next to
cross
the
that.
movie theater, I
Mhm.
would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I have been. I have photos from there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's really cool too. Yeah.
That one's kind of, it doesn't look big, but it's actually pretty big because he has a bunch of his stuff just like
Yes, he
underneath.
does.
So he has just vinyls on top of vinyls. So sometimes you got to go there and just like take a seat and look through all of his stuff to find like good stuff for, you know, a good price. But
He's even got
I
like
think
a
that's
rare
like kind of the fun in
section.
it too.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Have you guys tried the new Spotify DJ
Oh yes, I
feature yet?
have. I
You have,
have.
Derrick?
I've been using that a lot lately.
Really?
Yeah, I've been using that a lot lately because it introduces me to like, you know, artists that I might enjoy, while also, you know, giving me throwbacks to what I listened to when I was back in high school, which definitely a lot of questions about what I was like in high school. because like back in high school, because apparently I listened to a lot of like screamo and metalcore back in high school. I'm like, I was angry in high school.
Yeah.
Like because I guess part of it's like that music brings me a lot of energy, and you
Yeah.
know, waking up early needed that energy, so I listened to a lot of screamo and metalcore and stuff like that. I still
Yeah.
listen to it today, just not as much.
Yeah, definitely. I like a lot of screamo, kind of the new metal, say like, you know, Slipknot and just kind of System of a Down, all of those kind of
Oh
bands,
yeah,
Limp
yeah,
Bizkit.
those are some great groups. Yeah, but Limp
Yeah.
Bizkit,
Yeah,
Limp
dude.
Bizkit. I've heard. I know their hits, but I don't know like.
Yeah, I'm not like too deep into them. I like listening to that stuff when I'm going on like a mountain biking trip or something. And that's like my playlist on the way up there. Avenged Sevenfold or
Oh,
something.
Avenged Sevenfold. That is another great group right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, those groups take me back.
Have you guys, has Camryn, Joseph, Olivia, Pia, have you guys gotten your Spotify DJ yet?
I
I
don't
don't know what that is.
think so.
I've
I know, I don't
heard
either.
about it. I've read about it on social media.
neither.
I just haven't used it yet.
Yeah.
My earbuds actually just like gave out on me. So I don't.
Oh no.
Yeah, I've been
Rip.
like using my PlayStation, you know, headset and like going on the PlayStation to listen to Spotify. But so I haven't had a chance really to even experiment with the DJ thing yet. But from what I've heard, it sort of takes your interests and like expands on it a bit more or shuffles it, or is that what it does?
Yeah, pretty much. Like it'll be like, you know, you've been listening to this artist a lot, so we're gonna suggest you songs by this artist and artists similar.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like your personal AI DJ.
I like how it
Yeah.
kind of talks to you though. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard about
It's,
that.
like it talks to you. Yeah, like you know, it's an
Yeah.
AI DJ.
I saw some funny stuff about that.
That's funny. Kind of
So
strange.
I still haven't gotten my DJ. I don't know how to get it to work or what's up with that. So I've been with Spotify for ever since middle school. So I got to think like at least 8 years now.
Wow.
So it's actually pretty funny because all my playlist, if I look all the way back, I can see like, you know, some of my really old playlists from middle school in there. And
Yeah.
but I still haven't, like, the feature hasn't unlocked on my Spotify, and I'm like just waiting every day, just trying to see when it's going to unlock on there.
Yeah, back in middle school, I was just using Pandora or Google Music.
Pandora.
Yeah, Pandora. Like I don't know if like is that still a thing? Because I
Classic.
used that
I
forever.
think it
But that was
is.
what I was
went
using
to
in
the
middle
nail
school.
salon and they were using it.
I tried it in high school because I guess it's sort of like you can listen to whatever you want for free, but there's ads. So
Yeah.
you can still like choose though, because I know Spotify doesn't let you even like choose. Like you get to like it's just a shuffle if
Mhm.
you're not paying for it. So Pandora like lets you choose for free or something, but it's ads. So I used it for a little bit, but yeah. I don't know.
Nice.
I would actually be
They
curious what
should
my
do a
Pandora looked
study
like if I was
about
logged
like
back into
why.
it.
Yeah, they should do a study on like why Spotify is even popular. You ever think about that? Like they're all music apps, but why is Spotify popular? You know, like I don't know.
Honestly, I feel like the
Random.
Wrapped has a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why I
Yeah.
got it.
I think
That's totally true.
the interface too, because I've tried like Apple Music as well, and I just couldn't really work it, and I never got how to. It was always
Interesting.
confusing to me.
Yeah.
I
I
feel
do
like
use
also,
YouTube
sorry.
Music though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like it because there's some stuff that's really just on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was my
it's a
favorite
really
part of
cool.
that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that reminds me. One of my favorite songs is no longer on Spotify, so that hurts.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's like a long 30-minute song, but I enjoy it. It's no longer on
Yeah.
Spotify.
I like to there's people who like put their DJ sets on YouTube, and it's just a good way to like find out about new music and just listen to new things. There's people who used to DJ with vinyl. Well, they're still doing it, but like they'll do like a salsa kind of feel for like the whole set, or they'll do like
Yeah.
disco 80s, or so it's just
Yeah.
like a bunch of old different stuff that these people are just putting together and mixing, and it's pretty cool just to listen to the different things that they're putting on.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Welcome, Eddie.
Yeah.
Hello. Yes. Sorry,
Mhm.
I am late. I got caught up with some work.
That's all right.
Good.
We,
Right
we gotta
now,
catch you up on the
Better late than
questions
never.
now.
yes, we're talking about how we listen to music and whether we use like streaming services, CDs, vinyl, cassettes.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So do I have the floor?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I do everything. I stream. I have like a huge collection of vinyl and CDs. But yeah, for the most part, I stream. I also have like a turntable and do some DJing. So I use like Tidal for that, because Tidal's the only one that supports that. And then when I'm not using Tidal for DJing, I'll use either Apple Music or YouTube Music. I don't use Spotify. I used to have Spotify, and now I don't know how that worked out, but mainly Apple Music.
Really? Do you think you'll ever switch back to Spotify?
I mean, Spotify is the streaming platform. Like
Yeah.
everyone uses
That
it.
literally fits right into what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know. Well, yeah, go ahead, Daniel.
I think we're all kind of on the Spotify train over here. I was just talking
Yeah.
about Apple Music. I never got it because the user interface just never really made sense to me, and I couldn't really just grasp it. So I always stuck with Spotify all the way from middle school to current.
Yeah.
I mean, Spotify always seemed more compatible with this app that I use to track my music.
Yeah, Spotify always has like cooler things, like when they do the year recap, they have like the receipt app where you could like see what you've been listening to.
Oh
I don't know.
yeah.
I always appreciated like the social aspect of Spotify, and I don't think any other platform has truly grasped that. But Spotify for me in the past was the most buggy, or like was the most glitchy, and I just hated it. I would try to download stuff or just stream, and it just wasn't giving me the recommendation I liked. And this was years after listening to it. And then when I switched over to YouTube Music, which was Google Play Music at the time, it was just like
Yeah, I remember that.
that just has always had the best recommendations for me. And then they have like stuff that you can listen to that was on YouTube. So it's like you have like a ton of extra um, other music that you can listen to Spotify or Apple Music doesn't have. With that being said, like I do think that Spotify is king for sure, or queen.
Yeah. Have you
I
guys
do
tried
remember.
Oh, go ahead, Pia.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're all good.
But I do remember the like weird time in Spotify where artists were taking their music out because they weren't getting paid enough. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it kind of like not felt useless to have Spotify, but kind of felt useless to pay for it. Especially because I was having trouble with that as well, like downloading my stuff and listening to it offline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, Joseph.
Oh no, I was just agreeing. Yeah, it was a time.
Yeah, that actually made me switch to Apple Music when I saw like artists like Swift and just when it came to royalties, Spotify was paying artists the least amount out of all those streaming. And I saw that Apple Music was actually paying the right amount of royalties, or it switched when Taylor Swift came out and called out streaming platforms that Apple Music paid the most. And I think Tidal was up there as well. Spotify and YouTube have always been super low in royalties. And I think Spotify kind of increased that, but still nonetheless, they don't pay as much as other things. They do, however, have more promotions for artists. So like they get the word out and they have the reach to be able to do like these one-on-one with artists or like promote certain videos and stuff. So I do think that kind of makes up for it. But then again, I'm not a music artist. Yeah.
Do we kind of want to go back to talking about genres and kind of our favorite music inside the genres?
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask, I know a few people weren't able to speak on it earlier, but Eddie and Daniel, just to go back, and do you guys have a certain genre that you gravitate towards, or do you tend to stick to one thing?
Go ahead,
I'm
Joe.
always like in rock, and then it like sort of branches out from there. Anything with actual traditional instruments, and then it just sort of expands into whatever. So yeah.
I guess I gravitate towards rap and hip hop. But I grew up on a lot of stuff because my dad just had a huge music collection, like classic rock, metal, rap rock, like pretty much any genre. And so I've always like made my own CD mixes, and would just like I'd be putting like My Chemical Romance on the same CD with like the Wu-Tang Clan or the Offspring. So it's like, and then I liked a lot of samples. Like I loved watching The Simpsons or Family Guy. So on my CDs that I would make, I put like The Simpsons in between songs because I always appreciated intros. So like, yeah, it definitely a huge collection of genres. But I think lately I've been on a rap kick.
Definitely. I would say I'm kind of all over the place. What I kind of wanted to do was kind of like say a genre, and then if everyone just kind of want to give like a band from that genre if they knew, or like a song or something. Just because there's just so many. I would say like indie's what I'm listening to right now, but I have rock and like 2 songs later after that, and some like 90s raps, uh, just kind of all that stuff. So if we kind of wanted to go that direction and kind of get through them all, I think.
That'd be cool.
Cool. All right, do we want to talk about rock first? Anybody have any favorite rock songs or rock albums, rock artists?
All right. Favorite rock band.
Uh-huh.
I mean, rock was always my number one genre as a kid, but as I got older, I kind of started listening to more epic music, but rock always holds a place in my heart. And I guess when it comes to favorite rock bands, I mean, I like a lot of the 2000s groups, like the 3 Days Graces, the System of a Downs, Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah.
Like those were my main groups growing up. Skillet.
Yeah, the classics.
Yeah. Like those were my main groups growing up, and I still have a lot of appreciation for them.
What's the song that let's like I guess go to high school since that's more recent, right? What's a song, a rock song that defines your high school?
I think favorite rock song like ever made would probably be Everlong by Foo Fighters. That one's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
And then but that's like it's so hard to just pinpoint one. You have bands like uh, Blink-182 and Foo Fighters and, you know, the Descendants. You got punk rock, you got Bad Brains. You have all these different like kind of subgenres as well. So, but I would say overall, I would say Everlong. I think that's probably been like in my Spotify rap somewhere over the past 2 years. So it's kind of stuck with me over time.
Good song. Yeah. Just Pia, go.
Oh, but I was just gonna say, it's hard to pinpoint kind of one rock band or song just because I could go from classic rock because I grew up with like Led Metallica, like Aerosmith, and then some days I'll just listen to like Tool or kind of new metal with Korn and Slipknot. But honestly, I think one that I've been obsessed with, especially like growing up in middle school to like high school, was Nightmare by Avenged Sevenfold. That's like
Oh,
always my go-to.
ooh,
Yeah.
that one I love, man. I love that song. Like, like back when I was a kid, I'm like, all right, if I was ever to become like a WWE wrestler, that would be my theme song.
Absolutely.
I would use that as my theme song, like, or my walk-up song or something, you know.
And honestly, just the entire Nightmare album was like, it was a staple, definitely.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like Avenged Sevenfold's got a lot of bangers.
Joseph, what about you?
Oh man, it's so hard to choose from rock for me because that's like my like you know, rock to me is you start off with rock, so there's like Skillet, you know, stuff like that, or like even Led Zeppelin and just rock in general. But then I like it even goes a little bit further for me. What I classify as rock really starts with the fact that they're using traditional instruments, and then maybe, you know, it could range from Led Zeppelin to Nirvana to even Polyphia, like I was talking about, or there's so much. The Beatles, I would say, is rock in a way. Favorite rock album or rock song? Do the Talking Heads count as rock? They started as punk,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I would say that my favorite album, if we're gonna count the Talking Heads as rock, is Stop Making Sense. That's like my favorite album of all time as of right now, and I just love every song on that album. Definitely give it a listen if you're interested. Um, and in like 80s music or late 70s, because in my opinion, it's really the best live album I've ever heard. But yeah, I'll say that. That's really my favorite right now.
I don't think you could ever go wrong with 80s music. Like, let's be honest. If you don't know people, you play 80s and everybody loves it.
That
Yeah,
you know
pretty
what? I
much.
can't even disagree with that statement.
My does Queen count as rock? I
Yeah,
feel
they
like
are. They're
Absolutely.
definitely rock. They're one
okay,
of they're one of the
yes.
pioneers of it. Like,
Exactly. I mean, Freddie Mercury, I feel like was the beginning of like rock having a whole new like name,
For sure.
new category. Like he was insane. Like, oh my gosh, I can't even begin to talk about how many times that my mom and I have had discussions on how Freddie Mercury was like the best vocalist of all time. Like the way he just incorporated kind of almost like R&B and like soul into rock was like nobody else could do it better than he could.
Now that makes me want to talk about top rock vocalists. Get that. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, I mean, rock is one of those genres. Like, I can listen to rock music from like any era, any decade. Like even
Yeah,
2010s and 20s, I appreciate some
Mhm.
rock artists. Like one of my
yeah.
favorite bands in rock right now. You know, they came out in 2013. They're called Starset, and their music is best described as like cinematic rock. They're like if a hard rock band made a soundtrack for a movie.
That's pretty cool.
They incorporate elements of progressive rock, electronic rock, You know, they even add like, was it the hint elements, things like that genre. Like, again, like they're one of my favorite groups right now because of it, because there's a lot of different styles. Like they've incorporated little elements of indie as well. So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I love yeah, just the culmination of genres into rock music. But how about you, Olivia? Like, do you have specific rock band or song that you really like?
That's a good question. I feel like I listen to a lot of like the subgenres of rock. So like I guess you can consider Arctic Monkeys like
Yeah.
an indie rock. But then I also
Yeah.
listen to Elton John, which is kind of more like, I don't know if you'd consider it more like pop rock.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say Elton John too, but I was
Okay.
iffy on that one.
Yeah,
That-
no,
yeah.
I love Elton John. So that would probably be
Great.
my favorite artist.
Wow,
Elton
okay.
John's pretty good. I like his the Yellow Brick Road album. It's really good. I have that one on
Such a good
vinyl.
one.
Mhm.
That one just, you know, and the Benny and the Jets live version on that album.
Iconic. So
So
iconic.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That man, I saw him live a couple years ago, and the way that man just sits there and plays piano, and then after every single song, he gets up and he like waddles to the end of the stage and he takes a bow. He's so cute. I'm so sad that he's never gonna play a show out here again.
Yeah, I actually went to the one in November for his last tour, and oh my gosh, it was the
How
most
does it feel to be the universe's favorite? I'm just kidding.
it was amazing, like beginning to end, so much energy. It was great.
Super cool. What's your favorite song by Elton John?
Oh my gosh, probably that's so hard to think. Let me think about that. You'll have to come back to me.
Mine is probably, I guess that's why they call it the blues, or
Yes.
Daniel.
Oh,
I
okay.
gotta
got
go
it.
grab the album now, real quick. Hold on. I gotta remember the name.
Okay, my favorite is Your Song.
Oh,
Yes,
iconic.
And it was one of his last songs that he sang at the concert I went to, and it was just so touching because that was like, I think it was his first song, if not one of his first. So seeing that and then the last song being Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, it was just one emotional, but two really
That
just
gives me chills like talking about it.
For
Mhm.
sure. Yeah.
So sad.
That's a lot of energy.
Growing up, my family always played Guitar Hero, and my brother always wanted to play Crocodile Rock, and I absolutely hated that song growing up. Like the la 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 la, that like
Oh, you're
always
talking about
bothered
Lobster
me.
Rock.
What?
Or no, wait, you're talking about the B-52s?
No, Crocodile
No.
Rock by Elton
I've
John.
never heard of Oh my, I feel bad. Sorry. Like, okay, never mind. Never mind.
Someone doesn't know his Elton lore. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, every song. Yeah.
I got the album, and
Oh,
the name of
Rock.
the song is literally the album name. It's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Yes.
It's on side 2 of the vinyl. And I think
You're already
that song's
studying.
pretty good.
Yeah, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is definitely one of my top 3.
Yeah.
I just love the transition to the chorus, if you even call it a chorus, but this is like the oohs and the ahs is the
Yeah, yeah.
layers. Crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very cool.
Those ones are all really good, but I feel like for nostalgia for me is Benny and the Jets. I feel like that's one
Yeah.
that whenever it plays around my family, we all just kind of go into song for it. So,
Yeah.
but it's kind of funny that you guys mentioned Elton John because one of my friends got me a cassette of his album. I think it's Caribou. It's the one where the opening song is "The Bee Is Back," and
Oh
someone
yeah,
said that that
yeah.
was
That
like
song.
that felt like my vibe, and I didn't know what that meant, but I was very flattered that it was an Elton John album.
Yeah.
That song is
That's a
great.
huge compliment, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of just albums and artists, do you guys have a favorite? Like maybe we could give a top 3 of artists.
Top 3 artists. If I had to name a top 3, Two Steps from Hell's number 1, Starset's probably number 2, and then Breaking Benjamin number 3. If I was to go top 3, but that can always change because it always depends on what I'm in the mood for. But right now, I can say those 3 are always consistently my top artists.
I love the quickness of that. That was like perfect. You had it ready.
Yeah.
Because it's something I think about a lot. Because it's something I will sometimes be asked about. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I feel like
That's
it's a solid lineup.
Absolutely. I would say that my top 3, one would be Kendrick Lamar. I think that he's like uber talented, and I think he pays respect to the pop and hip hop artists, as well as even outside of that. Like we had U2 on a song. Like we just have these like crazy features. I think number 2 would be like probably The Fall of Troy. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but it's similar to like Olivia and on like they're kind of post-hardcore rock.
Yeah.
But the singer is just really talented. He's a talented guitarist. So he's just like really good energy. So, and then number 3 would be the Gorillas, probably. I feel like you can always expect like when it comes to
That's a good list.
Yeah.
That's a good one for sure.
So we were talking about top artists. Is that it?
Yes,
Yeah.
like the top 3.
Top 3. That's difficult. So I'd say, well, Nirvana really characterized a lot. Like, I feel like I have Nirvana to thank for really sort of putting me on the path of becoming like a musician and being interested in music, really. So I'll put Nirvana up there. I really like MF Doom. You know, the Talking Heads. I've really enjoyed listening to them lately. So I'll say that.
I mean, and no, this is literally the worst question to be asked as somebody in the music industry. I'd say in no particular order, but also kind of in a particular order. Number 1 is Harry Styles. Always can never go wrong with him. He's just an amazing person. I saw him like 6 times last year. It was a fever dream. Number 2 is probably 5 Seconds of Summer. I feel like I've grown up with them, and their music over the years has just changed so much in such an amazing way. And I just, I cannot say enough good things about them. I love them so much. The third one, I'd have to say there's this band called Lovejoy, and they're kind of new. They've only been a band for like a year. But I love them so much. Their music, it's kind of one of those ones where I was talking about earlier, where like their lyrics don't make any sense, but kind of make all the sense in the world at the same time. And I have just so many good memories of like screaming their lyrics at the top of my lungs with my sister. And my sister's my favorite person in the world, and it reminds me of her. So that's probably why.
Yeah, their music's good. Like Call Me What You Like and all that.
Yeah, you listen to Lovejoy?
Yeah,
Come
I mean, like,
on.
I have to keep up with it. So,
They're great.
yeah, they are. Yeah, I just have a huge appreciation for like Brit rock and all that, and just like where the scene.
Yes.
Like, I mean, the 1975 is really interesting to me. Like,
Oh
especially.
my God, I love them. They've
I
been
love
like
them.
Receiptify. I've had all of my songs for the past 3 months been 1975.
Yeah, no, they're just a hit. Like, and I love like they have the saxophone in their lyric or in the song sometimes, and it's just
Yes.
like, oh man, it hits so good.
They're
So,
amazing.
I do want to take a detour for a sec because you mentioned you saw hairstyles 6 times
Yes.
last year. I've never seen somebody in the same year, like I would say even more than twice, like, and that's stretching it. So
I am a huge concert person. I was at a Youngblood show last night. Like I go
okay,
to
cool.
concerts all the time. I've gone to concerts since I was like in kindergarten. Like I've always done it. It's like a part of my culture essentially. But Harry's obviously one of my favorites ever, and being able to see him that many times was such, first of all, a blessing, and I'm so grateful. But also just like the environment and being around all the people that also enjoy him and like just interacting with everybody and like dancing with everybody was like the best part of it.
Got it. Like, so the energy is what did it for you. I was gonna ask.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and just him. He's funny and he's a little goofball.
Yeah. So I saw like the Harry's house like on social media where like he was always like dressing up differently. Like he was
Hmm.
from Greece and all these different famous celebrities or characters.
Yeah.
Was he doing that at the shows that you went to?
Like doing different outfits and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, he always wore a different outfit every night. And then he did a show on Halloween that I went to, and he dressed up as Danny Zuko, and the rest of the band was like people from Greece.
that's very
It
cool.
was, yeah,
That's
he's
cool.
awesome. Every single night, it was like, oh, what's he gonna wear? I wonder what he's gonna wear. Everyone guess what color he's gonna wear, and then I'll give you $5 if you get it right. Like, it was so fun.
That's well, that's pretty cool. All right, Daniel, what about you? Or Olivia? Let's go, Olivia.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll go now. For me, really quick before I forget, Eddie, you said gorillas, right?
Yeah, I did. Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm sure you've listened to it, but have you ever listened to Empire Ants? Because that is literally my
Oh man.
favorite song.
Yes, Empire Ants is definitely
It's
like one of my favorites.
amazing.
It always like,
Um,
yeah, I've listened to some.
it's so great, yeah. But back to the question, I think top three would be ABBA, Elton John, and then the composer Tchaikovsky. Those are probably my top three.
That would be
Cool.
one heck of a concert. Like,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would.
ABBA is definitely interesting because that's a group I recently heard of, and I didn't mean that more into them.
Oh my gosh,
Like
yeah,
recently been on my radar, so I'm definitely looking to listen
they're
to them a
great.
bit more.
I'm
Highly
obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Dancing Queen by ABBA is kind of like my go-to karaoke song.
That's so iconic. I want to see
Yeah.
that happen. Can we actually all
yes.
go to karaoke, please?
Yeah.
We should make that happen. That would be fun.
That would be so amazing.
That would be fun. Talon karaoke night.
Yes.
So for my top three, I kind of went with like, trying to space things out a little bit, pick things from different genres and different eras. So for number one, I got Foo Fighters, rock band. Kind of, I would say like Nirvana's kind of like, right there behind them. But then number two, I kind of went with like 90s rap. I went with like Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, and Snoop Dogg, kind of like morphed them all into one group because they're kind of all close together. And then
So
for number
Super Bowl
three,
halftime show.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, basically.
My pick.
Man, what an iconic
I'm just
halftime
calling
show that
number
was.
two. It's the Super Bowl halftime show from 2 years ago. Pretty much that. And then number three, I went with like a whole bunch of oldies. We have like War, the Beatles, Chicago, just kind of like things like that. I would say top three.
That's a good list. Yeah, I
That's
feel like
100% correct.
that could definitely be like a Coachella.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Could you imagine like a Coachella for old souls?
Yeah,
I
That'd be
want to
dope.
say they like have something or something happen because I know War is still touring. And they're like a really old band. My grandparents will go see them. They play at a lot of casinos, to be honest.
yeah.
So my grandparents will go watch all these bands at casinos, or they'll go different places for them. But I know they're still touring, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I grew up listening to a lot of War. I mean, it's like that was a band that was just a staple in Mexican American culture.
Yeah.
And just, I grew up with like a lot of oldies and like lowrider oldies, and like
Yeah.
War was definitely within there.
Yeah. There's just like I would say the production of War is just top of the line. You can't go wrong.
Mhm.
And just to think like all of those instruments were played by someone and it wasn't just like a keyboard or something.
Yeah, and all live, like in the same studio.
Yeah. Their band was like as big as an orchestra 'cause they had, trombones, trumpets, saxophones, singers, a whole percussion section, and all these different things coming together to create a something that's just, huge.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and going back to Coachella, because like I saw a lot of flack for Frank Ocean's set. Um,
Yeah.
and
Gosh.
Eek.
Oh my gosh.
and I am a huge Frank Ocean fan. Like it's
Ooh.
and I
Me
think
too.
that
I just started listening to Frank Ocean, and I enjoy what I've heard so far. Like I just started into that just earlier this year.
what song like really like turned your head or turned your ear from Frank Ocean?
I think the song that really got me was Ivy. That was a song that really
Hmm.
like got my
Ivy.
attention.
Eddie, what do you think about Pyramids? Because for me, that's my favorite. That's just like, man, I love Pyramids.
Yeah, I don't think he can top that song for me. Don't get me wrong, like every song that I've heard for Frank Ocean is just like heaven. But
Yeah. I mean, because so many people always talk about Blonde, but I was surprised that Channel Orange at like Pyramids just really blew me away.
yeah,
Either Ivy or Sweet Life for me.
A Sweet Life is good too. But yeah, Pyramids, I mean, just a change up, and that's just so avant-garde.
Yeah.
And that really, I mean, Channel Orange in general, but like when I listen to Pyramids, there's no other song like that on the album. And even with Blonde, I mean, Blonde is a good album through and through. And that's the thing about Frank Ocean. That goes back to like the whole Coachella performance, is that he is just very like he can't fake an emotion or can't fake a feeling. So when
Yeah.
he delivers an album or delivers a music or delivers a set, it's like that is his artistic expression. And I think
Yeah.
when it came to the timing of the set and of the other bands that were involved that day, like I think Blackpink was there that day, like it
Yeah.
just wasn't the Coachella vibe that people were expecting. And so on one hand, I'm like, yeah, I mean, like it wasn't what he should have done at Coachella, but if you have Frank Ocean at a show, like it's gonna be like Frank Ocean. So I think like Coachella could kind of do better at.
Yeah, I feel like maybe he did a Blackpink and like bigger stars like that perform with him on the same day.
Mhm.
Yeah, so maybe they should have put him like first or something, so he could have. I mean, I know that the idea because he played late at night, right?
Yeah, it was. I
Yeah,
mean, he was
was he
even
sort of
late,
like
so it was like at
headlining?
midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I just feel like maybe there was a better way to make it like sort of a better show or something. I don't know. I feel bad for people that paid so much. Really happy to see him back, and then he sort of didn't deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a
But
friend who is going this weekend, and he literally bought his ticket solely to see Frank Ocean, and he
yeah, and
dropped out. So
yeah,
Oh
he's kind
man.
of really upset about
Dang.
it.
yeah. Frank is gonna have to drop the most banger album or something like to like really make up for this for those people. But yeah,
Yeah, I really, that it's just all weird to me. And I'm really excited for his album. Like it's been so long.
yeah,
But I do feel like uh that Coachella or festivals like that could do maybe like a better, more organized approach at like curating like the order that artists go in or like
yeah,
the
or maybe similar types of music in one day.
yeah, like
Yeah,
how Camryn was talking about where if they had like an old soul day, and it doesn't have to be old souls, but like
Yeah.
just committed to that. So no matter what you got, you're gonna get
Right.
something you like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you have a different take on that, Camryn, being in the music industry?
In regards, sorry, I was zoning out.
No, you're good.
In regards to what?
I guess just like curating festivals or like the timing or the set list.
I mean, the thing about music festivals is that they bring like all different kinds of people together. And I think that's like kind of the main part of it is just having a ton of different people that many people can enjoy. If that makes sense. I feel like I'm talking in circles.
No, that definitely makes sense. That's
Yeah.
almost what I feel. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, I could see that point. Yeah, music does bring people together. So yeah.
Yeah. I think I haven't actually. I feel like has Frank Ocean said anything about why it went down the way it did? He said he hurt his leg, or I don't know if that was after the fact or. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that might be a stretch. So yeah,
I think he
was,
said that's why he dropped out, is because he twisted his ankle or something. I've seen that going around. I'm not sure though.
yeah, that I mean it's all it's just bad timing, I guess, if that was,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
definitely.
did hear that he got injured beforehand, and that's what caused like a bunch of changes in the set, which is kind of why he was late to it, but I'm not 100% sure.
Hmm.
But sorry, going back to top 3 for artists.
thank you, Pia.
Of course, I think mine would definitely be just to kind of spread out the genre listen to. I think my first one would be Taylor Swift, and then Red Hot Chili Peppers, definitely, and probably Slipknot as my third. So those would be kind of my top 3. And just to close us out, does anyone, we could go around if we want to recommend one album to our listeners, like either a favorite or one that we think people would appreciate and enjoy. Olivia, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure.
This one?
So one in 2022 that I actually started listening to more recently, since I feel like it's kind of hard to pick one full album, would be by Mitski, and it's Laurel Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would recommend that one because I'm really enjoying going through it right now.
Is it as good as people say it is? Because I know all the Mitski lovers were like, like literally dying last year when it dropped. So
Yeah.
is it really that good?
I feel
I
like
haven't listened to it yet.
there are some good ones, but I feel like there are some older songs that might be a little bit better. But
Okay.
as a whole, I think it's easier to get through, as a whole album.
Yeah, as someone that's only ever heard, what is it, a Washing Machine Heart?
Washing Machine Heart, so good, yeah.
Yeah, so
Also,
I
Nobody.
haven't actually branched out in her
Yeah.
discography, but okay.
I do love her as well.
Yeah.
Joseph, do you want to recommend an album?
Yes, I got to go with the Talking Heads. Stop Making Sense. It's like if there's an album that'll like make you want to dance, that is the album. There's a live movie. There's a movie that's made actually, that's the concert that you hear when you listen to the album. So I highly recommend it. It'll make you want to get up and dance, and it'll just make you feel good.
That's awesome. I haven't heard that one, so I'll definitely have to add it to the list. How about you, Daniel? Kind of just going in a circle right now.
Yeah, for me, kind of hard to pick an album. I would say, for sure listen to Everlong by the Foo Fighters if you haven't yet. That's like top song right there. Then I would say, if you haven't listened to War, they have a compilation that they just came out with. It's called War's Greatest Hits 2.0. You can get the vinyl as well. It's just a mixture of all of their best songs. I would say that has like just that genre of music and everything has had a big influence on me growing up. And then the one album that I would say, like, is like I'll recommend is just kind of going back to my list is Dr. Dre 2001, just because that's kind of like his comeback album. You have The Chronics, which came out in the 90s. That was where he was introducing Snoop Dogg. Then you have 2001 where he brings on Eminem. And before that album, he didn't really he wasn't really coming out with anything new, so everybody thought that he kind of fell off. So it was kind of like his big comeback album, which was pretty cool to think about.
I do love that album, and I've actually been listening to it on repeat like the past 2 months. Glad you mentioned it.
Yeah.
You forgot about Dre pretty much expressed that whole, everybody thought he fell off. He pretty much
Yeah.
expressed that sentiment and forgot about Dre.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But how about you, Derrick?
All right, favorite album. Or album I'd recommend, well, either way. If I like it, I guess maybe other people will like it. I don't know. But I guess favorite album, I'd probably go Vessels by Starset. Like that album is kind of everything to me. Like, because it kind of what helped started me listening to other genres, because that album kind of blended a bit of other genres. It didn't really blend hip hop as much, but it blended a lot of different genres of rock. Like, kind of incorporate elements of pop, indie rock, progressive rock, symphonic rock, electronic rock, hard rock. So it really touched a lot of horizons in the whole rock genres. And there's even some ambient outros to certain songs in the album as well, as they all tied down to the overall message of the group.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's definitely up there for one of my favorite albums.
Perfect. How about you, Camryn? You have
All right.
one album that you recommend.
Before I say it, I want everyone to take a really good guess on who I'm about to say. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Harry's House by Harry Styles. Only because I have never met one person who has said they hated that album. It like sweeped the Grammys, first of all. But there's just so many good songs. I mean, there's like songs that have like some sort of like disco flair, like Late Night Talking and Cinema. Even like, I don't know, like the stacked vocals he's got on that album, and just some of those ballads like Matilda and Little Freak. They're just, it's so good. I love that album so much. But yeah, I've never met anybody who hated it. And my sister, who like has never listened to Harry Styles in her life or has cared about him, loves that album. And she's very judgmental of music. So that is a score for me.
That's like the one album my whole family agrees about. Just because like we'll have that. So my little sister, she's probably about like 10, 11 now, and she really loves that album. My dad likes it, and I like it as well. So it's kind of like all three generations can agree on it, and we'll put that one on vinyl for the whole household too. So it's really interesting.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out now.
Yes,
I never actually listened to it, so I'm definitely gonna check it out now.
I'm surprised you like it or you put it above his other efforts, like, because I haven't heard the album yet, but I've heard stuff from his other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Fine Line and the self-titled one, they're really good too. But I mean, Harry's House just takes the cake. It really does.
All right, yeah. We're all gonna listen
like...
to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny you mentioned that because I always thought like Self-Titled was my favorite album by him, but Harry's House is the one I find myself listening to. Like I have it on CD. It's in my car rotation. So
And it stays there always. So
absolutely.
good. I do have to scrim because I have to get to work, but it was so nice talking to you guys. I hope you have a great rest of the podcast.
Of course. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
But how about you, Eddie? Do you have like a album that you would recommend to people?
Yeah. I have three, and I'll just make it quick, just because they're like for different moods, and I'm definitely someone for different moods. For like really low laid back. There's a band called Unknown Mortal Orchestra.
Mm.
Album that was just released called Five or V, and it's they're from New Zealand, and this really has like an islandy feel, and just like it's just super chill. Like, you can listen to in the morning, a rainy day, and it's just very meaningful. So if you're a laid back person, definitely recommend Unknown Mortal Orchestra. For some like heavy stuff that has like a fusion of genres, Paris, Texas is a like a rap group, but they use rock elements, and they had a album called Anonymous or something like that. Let me see. Boy Anonymous that came out in 2021, and it just like has like a super like hard hitting like metal sound. Um, yeah, I would just be on the lookout for Paris, Texas this year, and then for just like an all around like good like poppy feeling, Jordan Ward, like a rapper dancer, and he released an album called Forward that just came out, and like I can't stop listening to it. It's just got like great songs, great energy.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I'll be
And
sure to check those out as well.
But yeah.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to listen to this and write down everything.
Like I'm already saving stuff on Spotify, so I'm like, all right, I'm
I
looking them
know.
up, and I'm gonna save them, and then I'll get to them.
Definitely.
For sure.
But going on like metal heavier sounds, an album that I discovered recently was Dance Devil Dance by the band Avatar.
Oh,
Um,
my brother-in-law loves them. He's seen them in concert, and he has like a signed poster of them. So, yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Oh
But
my gosh, that's so funny to hear that. I didn't expect them to come up. That's great.
yeah, I recently heard Valley of Disease, and I've been obsessed with it, so I would definitely recommend the whole album.
All right. I know he's like wanted me to listen to them, so now that I've heard just like another person mention them, I'll have to do it for sure.
Yes, absolutely. But thank you everyone for such great recommendations. Like I have had Spotify open this entire time, just kind of writing stuff down. So I'm glad you could all be here today for the music podcast. And as for where you could find us, we have a website at msjctalonnews.com. We have at msjctalon on all social media like Instagram, TikTok, and we have a Facebook and Twitter as well. You could be here with me and Daniel.